Welcome back to the Business Psychology Hub. Some say knowledge in the workplace represents power and success. The success of your career, however, can be enhanced by understanding the limitations of your knowledge. Recognizing that there is more to know is often the motivation behind someone dedicating one's time and effort to learning more through training, self-development, or on-the-job learning, and is therefore a primary driver behind becoming more effective or qualified in the workplace. An awareness of the limits of current knowledge can also result in an openness to trying new approaches which can lead to innovations. New workplace efficiencies can be identified through a planned process of experimentation where the effectiveness of different options are assessed. Large organisations like Apple and Google employ teams comprising of super smart individuals whose role it is to trial new approaches such as options for a new website layout and who analyse whether the alternative formats result in improvements such as a higher number of purchases from the new design. Every now and then, a new innovation will not only revolutionise an organisation's workplace but will also impact upon the whole industry. Think of the impact that Microsoft had when they developed graphical window icons. This design is still impacting upon the current IT industry. We are all limited by our human mental abilities. We are only capable of processing a small fraction of the information that we are exposed to. For example, it has been found that people on average can only hold 7 plus or minus 2 facts in short-term memory, and this is called the Miller number. If someone gives you 100 key numbers to remember at work, you will probably be not able to process this information at all. Or if your boss presents you with a list of 20 tasks to do in the next month, it would be advised that you recognise your memory limitations and have a notepad ready. Being human, we're also limited in our ability to perform complex calculations accurately and efficiently, and there's no shame in deferring to number crunching technology. Another limitation is that we all hold a large number of cognitive biases. For example, people have a tendency to remember facts that are presented as being more dramatic, or will reinterpret information to be more socially desirable. Good marketers, communicators, and charismatic personalities know how to present information and stories that justify their own workplace preferences in a way that also appeals to their intended audiences. Some patterns in the workplace are statistical. When an event is statistical, we may be able to work out the likelihood of an event happening through examining the past data, but we cannot be certain about the exact outcome of the next event. For example, we may know on average that 1 in 10 sales engagements will result in a customer buying, but not whether the next customer will definitely buy or not. A good salesperson knows that they're playing a numbers game. Statistical likelihood is also associated with the concept of risk. Risk is a function of the negative consequences of an event and the likelihood of that event occurring. A good manager knows that they must come up with strategies to reduce exposure to severely negative consequences. Typical organisational strategies to reduce risk include seeking diversified income, purchasing insurance, and ensuring that there's enough cash in the bank. It's important to recognise when a workplace problem is not computable. Some problems are not computable because there's no algorithm that can be used to solve the problem. Other problems cannot be computed because we lack the accurate data to include in our model. For example, it's impossible to accurately compute a weather synaptic chart 2 months from now, or stock prices 2 months in advance. In both of these examples, even the smallest error put into the algorithm or model will quickly magnify over time to the point that the long-term prediction has become meaningless. We may lack knowledge because the topic is ambiguous. In other words, we do not know how to interpret a situation. If someone showed you a new device and said it was hot, they could be referring to the device being spicy, having a sexy shape, having a high temperature, or being stolen property. Further context is needed to understand this comment. The way we use language ensures that most workplace conversations have an element of ambiguity. Ambiguous comments can result in misunderstandings between two people at work. Ambiguity can only be overcome via requests for clarification or understanding of the context. If you're not sure about a statement in the workplace, it may be worthwhile asking for confirmation or clarification. We're all social creatures that become part of in-groups and out-groups. Influential members of the in-groups are often the gatekeepers of key information. In the workplace, having the right connections can be the equivalent to having the right knowledge. Having a reputation as a know-it-all can lead to co-workers becoming resentful or jealous. While many people will not bother directly arguing with someone who knows more, they may exert their influence in other ways, such as talking behind that person's back or not alerting them to promising opportunities. Many people have failed in their jobs without knowing the reason why, and that's because they've got the wrong people offside. Finally, in the workplace, being knowledgeable can also be illegal and get you fired. For example, it may be illegal to look up private customer records, or you may lose your job if you read a confidential report that you did not have the delegations to read. Knowledge is a multi-dimensional concept. I hope that you're able to get ahead at work through building up knowledge while also having an understanding of the limitations of knowledge. If you're interested in this business psychology course, then please subscribe to this channel.